Good evening, folks. Welcome to this edition of Curveball Convos with your boys, Carolina Curveball. We have a fun episode here for you tonight, recapping Week 11. Lots of crazy action. SoCon movement, CAA movement, ACC movement, American movement, Big South movement, A10 movement, so many conference movements. Also, for the first time in a while, some SEC movement from our lone SEC team, South Carolina. But first, let me introduce my cast and crew. It's myself, Kason Romeli, Braxton Bodorf, and Reed Tobin. Reed Tobin, you look to be in a new location, sir. Where are your whereabouts?
I am in Dirty Myrtle for the
Whoa.
evening.
I would not call it Dirty Myrtle. We do have some coastal Carolina listeners that would not appreciate that, Tobin. So
Fair
I will
enough. No, Myrtle is a great city. I always enjoy my time when I come down here.
It is a great city, Reed. Me and you have spent a weekend or two there watching some college baseball down there at Springs Brooks in Conway, where Coastal Carolina plays. Phenomenal ballpark, one of my favorite ballparks in the country, if not the Carolinas. Braxton, how's it going, sir?
Good, yeah. A lot of moving parts this weekend. A lot of movement not only in Carolinas but nationally. I mean, me and Tobin were talking. We all were last night. How hard it was to kind of construct the top 25 from this past weekend with how much that happened. So I wasn't able to watch as much as I would have liked to this weekend, but I was following along with everything going on. So excited to break it all down tonight. And the rankings were a lot of movements today. If you didn't see on our page, so just a lot happened and yeah, it's going to continue that way for the next few weeks.
It is going to continue that way for the next few weeks, and we are getting closer. April, we blinked, and April is now gone. April is not completely gone, but it's April 27th. Speaking of things on the horizon, Reed Tobin, do we have a new Field of 64 coming out this week or next week?
We will have one coming out this week, and then starting next week, we will be having one every single week in May, and then into June too.
Tobin, before we pull up the slate and the scoreboard and talk about the weekend, just kind of talk about what goes into the process of that and kind of an in-depth look of how you guys make that and just kind of the details of it. And will there be an episode of you breaking it down?
Yeah, Braxton, I think that was a good little show, mini show that we did the other week ago. So yeah, we can keep doing that. But I really enjoy making this, Braxton. I appreciate the help too. But it's really fun to make. We're crunching the numbers and everything like that. Obviously RPI is a huge factor in college baseball too. And then you got to look at all your quadrant one and quadrant two wins, and then what teams are avoiding the bad quad three and quad four losses.
Braxton, do you have any comments on the Field 64 of how we make it or anything?
No, I
Anything
mean,
to add, sir?
I love making it every week. I help read out where I can help. I mean, I kind of just maneuver around the sheet. Mostly it's reads analysis, but obviously I've watched a lot of ball too, so I can kind of help out as needed. But we'll be coming out with one starting next week, pretty much weekly. So yeah, we'll keep doing the show. If that maybe we could make one live too. I mean, it's kind of harder to do that though because there's it's harder to maneuver live than it is to just talk about it once it's already out. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But I think we'll continue on with how we're doing it, and it did pretty good numbers on X last time, so we're hoping that it can continue to do that throughout the projections.
The people love Reed Tobin's analysis.
Best time of year, man.
It's
Best time
that
of year.
time of year. We are getting closer
Yeah.
to May. May comes selection show. May also comes the Coke 600 read. We had a nice Dega finish yesterday.
Yeah, big finish at Dega yesterday. But yeah, like Braxton said, these next 7-8 weeks, arguably my favorite time of the year.
That's right. All right, Braxton, let's pull up the scoreboard and recap the weekend that was. First, we will discuss the one that is not on here. That is the Duke North Carolina series that started on Thursday and ended in a UNC 2-1 series win over Duke on Saturday. Reed, what is your take on Duke first? And Braxton, I will get your take on the heels.
I thought Duke battled this weekend. Well, at least on Thursday and Friday they did. Aiden Weaver on Thursday night was spectacular for Duke. He started the game a little rough, just walking a bunch of Carolina hitters, but got out of those jams. And then, I mean, he was just mowing through that Carolina lineup, 11 strikeouts. And then, on Friday too, with them getting the win, ending their losing skid. And then, obviously they were blown out on Saturday, but it was a lot better effort from Duke this past weekend.
Yeah. Just kind of piggybacking off that, I think the Heels played really well. I think Duke just played tremendously well on the day that they beat them. I mean, I watched that game pretty much in full, and they just played terrific defense. I mean, they turned 3 or 4 double plays. They were making diving catches in the outfield, so credit to them. They took that game, and Carolina just did struggle offensively that day, but they certainly made up for it on Sunday, scoring 22 runs against a rival like that on the road. Taking the series is always a win. And I think it's interesting, with everything that played out in the ACC this week. Does that kind of help Carolina? Do you think, Reed, or does that hurt them? Maybe. I mean, there's only 5 teams above 500 in the ACC right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing about the ACC. I mean, we can touch on that here maybe in a little bit, but yeah, 5 teams only above 500. But Georgia Tech sweeps Wake this weekend, so I mean, Carolina was a game back going into this weekend. And, obviously Wake chokes in all 3 of those games. So now Carolina's 2 games back, and Carolina and Georgia Tech both only have 2 ACC series remaining. And, looking at Georgia Tech's schedule too, they play, let's see who they play. I know they finish at BC.
They played
Duke. Yeah, Duke. Yeah, I mean, they're going to sweep Duke. I mean, you would think at home. At home, you would think. And then, I mean, it really comes down, Carolina gets Pitt and at State, and then we saw what Pitt did this past weekend. So I would lean probably Georgia Tech is going to win the regular season. I mean, obviously, we know Carolina took 2 out of 3 from them 2 weekends ago. But, I mean, your thoughts on that, Braxton?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Carolina dropped a game this weekend. Georgia Tech didn't. So, they deserve to go up a couple games. Both teams have had a tremendous season. Both teams are going to comfortably host. Both teams are going to be national seeds. I think that's pretty much barring any sort of complete letdown. But I don't see that happening. Both these teams are 2 of the best teams in the country. And we got to watch that play out last weekend. So, yeah, it just, it really does hurt the ACC, though, in terms of at-large bids, I think. I think sitting here last week, you were probably looking at 7, 8, maybe even.
I would still comfortably say they get 7 in, and then after that, it really just. I mean, you're looking at Pitt, NC State, maybe Louisville can work their way back in. Virginia Tech's an interesting case too with their RPI. So I mean, the ACC. Yeah. I mean, these bubble teams have some work ahead of them here over these.
I mean, with Wake sitting at 11, Wake's comfortably in, you would think. Already.
I mean, yeah, you would think so. I mean, barring a disaster / 3 weekends. And then, obviously Clemson, unless they sweep their next 3 series, which I do not think they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, which is just a shock. I mean, they're going to have to win the ACC tournament.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
Clemson sits at the bottom, as Reed said, at 6-15 in the ACC at large chances. Just about dead. They are sitting 49 in the RPI. Also noted, Wake Forest sitting at 22 in the RPI, sit at 11-13 in the ACC. They've lost 3 straight, got swept. Lost 4 straight ACC games, but Louisville and Stanford both on 5-game winning streaks in the ACC, right at 10 and 11. They're making a push, like you said, but we will get in more of a ACC discussion later. Next, Coastal Carolina takes the series versus Texas State. They do lose another Sunday, but Reed, the story of the weekend was Cameron Fluke looking good in his 2 innings yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish he could have pitched a little more, but just let him get back into the rhythm. He hasn't pitched in over 10 weeks too. You don't want to rush him too back, but he looked excellent yesterday. I mean, he was touching 97 too. Had his curveball and breaking ball and slider really working for him, 94, 97 too with that fastball. It just adds such a different dimension to Coastal too. Luke Jones, he's been good for them all season. And, Ross Norman turns up another great start for them on Saturday. And then, getting Fluke back. I mean, that gosh, I mean, that just makes Coastal so scary. I mean, I do worry a little bit about that offense, Braxton and Kaysen. They've struggled in the midweeks too, and then on Sunday, but with Fluky back, I mean, they're not going to have to have the pressure on them to score 10 runs, say, on Sunday now.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily worried about the offense, but I think just because, like you mentioned, their pitching's good enough to win them games, and their offense will do enough. It's good to see a guy like Blake and Pato come up with a big clutch hit this weekend. We know Rex Watson's going to do his thing probably in the postseason, Mazzone as well, and then guys like Mijos have been there and done that. So and Barthel too. So I'm not necessarily worried about it. I think they're going to come along and find ways to win ball games in June.
Colby Thorndike though, he's had a dismal season.
Yeah, I haven't heard his name a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's batting like 220 on the season too. And then, I mean, obviously, we saw what he did last year in the regionals against ECU.
Just don't let Colby Thorndike run into the Pirates.
He's the type of guy that's going to give you like his bat might not be all the way there, but he plays great defense. He runs the bases really well when he does get on. Like, he's got such a dynamic game that I think, like, even if he's hitting 220, and like you said, like last year in the postseason, he really rose to the occasion. So that's a guy they're still going to stick out there and trust. So that just shows how good they really are too.
I also think, I mean, Reed, like you asked about the offense, but I think they're going to be fine because
I mean, yeah. I mean,
because
I still think they're fine.
Because Kevin Schnall is the head coach. And I mean, the culture he's instilled in those walls, in the water, in everything they do, they're going to rise to the moment. So,
I think getting Fluky back takes my worry away a lot more with that offense. Just with how good Fluky is. I mean, gosh.
Charleston Southern takes the series over UNC Asheville. UNC Asheville 2-8 in their last 10, falls to 5-10 in the Big South, last in the Big South. Charleston Southern sitting at 9-9, 2 games out from first place in the Big South. They are not out of it yet. Scored a whole lot of runs this past weekend. They were led by
Blake Edgman.
Yep. Is he on the sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blake. Yeah, Blake. 7 for 14, 4 RBIs, 7 runs, a home run, 3 doubles, and 3 walks. So good weekend there for Charleston Southern Braxton as they try to climb back in Big South play.
Yeah, like I think you said they're at 9-9, I believe. And on the Asheville side, they really needed this series because, that I don't want to say that puts them out, but it's definitely not going to be an easy one now. They got to find a way to beat out Upstate. So I don't know what their schedule looks like remaining, but that was a crazy game on Sunday. I was checking the score at that, and I think I even jinxed Asheville in the group. I just kind of alerted everyone that the Bucks might lose, and then next thing you know, here we are in extra innings or whatever it went to. So good series win for them on the road. Asheville, when they won game 1 like they did, I thought it was going to be an easy sweep for the Bucks, but credit to Asheville to at least take a game there, but they really needed the series.
Speaking of a team that needed a series, Charlotte drops one to FAU, drops them down to 5-13 in the American. Last in the American, they were once at the top of the American at number 6 in our power rankings at one point. Highest they've been. In Reed Tobin, they have not been playing great baseball as of late as they sit the bottom of the American. And Reed, this was a must-have because let me read you off their remaining schedule here. So they just played FAU. They now have Tulane at home, at UAB, and then Memphis. So this is a series that was a must-win if they wanted to get into the conference tournament, but it is not looking good for Robert Woodard's bunch.
No. I mean, they were fortunate enough to win yesterday. They were had a sizable lead in that game too yesterday and let FAU back into and were able to hang on there. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about their struggles here over the past month too. I mean, it was just it's so shocking to see, considering they got off to a non-conference play, and then even in American play, they swept South Florida to start American play too. And I mean, I think we were all thinking, oh wow, Charlotte could maybe make a push, maybe as a third team, as an at-large in the American, and it's been anything like that. You touch on their upcoming series here too. I mean, like I said, Tulane, that's a must-win at home. I mean, you would feel like they're going to have to probably sweep Memphis too
They
at
have
home.
to they have to win out to take the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we could obviously Memphis. I mean, we'll see. They've got some tough series coming up too with ECU coming into town this weekend, which we'll get on more later here in a second. But I mean, their hands are up against the wall. I mean, we've seen how good UAB too has been this season. So I mean, yeah, it's now or never for the Niners.
Their neighbors in Charlotte, Davidson, got a nice sweep over George Washington over the weekend. Davidson now reads sitting 5 games back from first place in the A10.
Yeah.
St. Joe's sits at 19-2. Reed playing some really good baseball. What, Braxton?
St. Joe's just doesn't lose.
No, they do not lose. But Reed, it sets them up for good seeding in the conference tournament, and all it takes is one game in the conference tournament, and you can punch your ticket. Davidson was led by Jamie Daly. He was 8 for 16, 3 RBIs, home run, 3 runs, a triple, 2 doubles, 2 walks, and as well as Cooper Kavanaugh, who has been a frequent on our honor roll. 6 innings, 11 Ks, 1 earned, 2 hits. Really good positive signs there from Davidson. Reed. They are a solid program, sitting at 23-18, 14-7, 2 games ahead of Richmond and VCU, and tied for third and Fordham at 12-9, tied for third there. So looking forward to seeing what Davidson can do in the A10. Now to move it into the Big South, High Point is now tied with Winthrop in the Big South because they swept VMI, and we will get to Winthrop later. I almost want to get to him right now, but we'll get to him later because a shocker in the Big South as Gardner-Webb takes that Winthrop, but we will get to that later. But Braxton, High Point continues to just play great baseball all over on the mound, at the plate, wherever. Joey Hammond has those boys ready to go every weekend.
Yeah, they look good. They took care of business against a non-conference opponent here in VMI, and they needed Gardner-Webb to take that series from Winthrop to kind of jump them or at least tie them in first place, which did happen. So they are now sitting right there next to Winthrop as the top seed, possibly in the Big South when it comes to the tournament. But like you said, Casey, this team's just played well all year. I mean, they continue to hit the ball well. They pitch it really well. Ever since they won the series at Florida, I mean, we've known they've been a serious ball club, and they've continued to show it every week in the Big South. And now they're doing it against a decent SoCon opponent in VMI. So
Frank Kelly was 4 for 11, 8 RBIs, 4 runs scored, a home run, a double, 4 walks, and a stolen base. Also, Wade Walton had a good outing, 6 1/3, 7 Ks, 1 earned, 3 hits, and a win. Good for High Point as they now sit tied atop of the Big South with
top 45 too in RBI, which I'll
RBI.
add. I mean, up to 42 in RBI.
Wow, that is nuts. Reed Tobin, you were in Greenville, our alma mater, East Carolina, for a series sweep. And Reed Tobin, every time you seem to go to Greenville, the Pirates seem to get wins on the board and score a whole lot of runs. So, Tobin, give us the breakdown of the Pirates taking care of business in Greenville. They are now tied. It's a 3-way tie for first in the American at 12-6. You got UTSA, East Carolina, and UAB. ECU beat UAB but lost to UTSA. Has UTSA and UAB played?
No, they play last weekend of the regular season.
That could decide a lot, but Reed, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I had to get the Pirates back on track. You mentioned it seems like when I'm down there, I get the best out of them. We like to joke about that. But, offensively, though, I think this was their best week offensively all season. 3-run rule wins this week. They destroyed Old Dominion on Tuesday on the road, and then, they run rule South Florida on Friday night too, taking care of business. And then I'll add to the fact, though, that South Florida had the conference best ERA headed into this weekend too. And the Pirates just clobbered their pitching all weekend. Davin Whitaker hit 2 homers on Friday night. Walker Barron hit a home run on Friday night. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, it was
With
a
the
home
Nick
run
Palmer?
parade. I believe that was the Saturday. Kalenich hit one on Friday too. And then, on Saturday, South Florida they hit Norby, but he didn't give up. South Florida, I'll rephrase that better. South Florida wasn't able to get any timely hits off them. Norby was able to work his way out of jams. And then, Joseph Webb was spectacular this weekend. I think he's the other story this weekend, allowing 1 hit and 8 innings of work, 13 strikeouts. And then also add Jack Herring too. I mean, he had a massive week at the plate. Braden Burris snapped out of his little funk that he was in. Colby Wallace swung a good bat. And then, it was so good to see Austin Irby finally hit the ball too this weekend. I mean, that was an absolute moon ball. He's on that Saturday night. So yeah, I mean, it's huge for the Pirates, getting that sweep, and then it rockets their RPI. I mean, me and Braxton were talking. We did not have them in the field going into this week. They were sitting around 44, 45, right there on the bubble. And then, after this week's work, they're firmly up to 28 in RPI. And they have a favorable next 3 series. Looking at their schedule occasion at Memphis, Rice at home, and then at FAU. I mean, so those are all winnable. You would expect the Pirates to win all those series too. It's a big one tomorrow night. I think that's a huge opportunity for them in Raleigh tomorrow night. I'll be curious to see how they respond after getting blown out by the State 2 weeks ago. We'll see if they can carry the hot bats into Raleigh tomorrow night.
The season's flying by. ECU only has 2 midweek games left.
Yeah, State and Campbell.
State and Campbell, they might not even play the Campbell game.
Yeah, I would think though. If ECU gets the 35 wins, that will probably be enough for them to be in the field, and not have to stress it out in Stillwater.
Yeah.
And Reed, I'm with on everything you've said, but I will say though, this team has been on a roller coaster all year. Every time you think they're catching their stride, they decide to take 2 steps backwards, drop a series you don't think they will lose, or drop a midweek game in a heartbreaking fashion. So I'm going to have to see it to believe it, but I do think that this sweep over South Florida is a big needle mover in my personal opinion. South Florida, good team, sitting at 28-15. That dropped them to 7-11 in the American, which is second place, second to last.
They're currently out of. If the regular season ended today, they would not be in the AAC tournament.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is wild to say. And the last thing I'll say on the Pirates is this season has been a roller coaster for Joseph Webb. I mean, at the beginning of the year, he was throwing BP out there on the mound. He was not good for ECU, but he has turned it around as of late. And the one name Reed Tobin did not mention in this was Sean Jenkins. The Pirates did not have to use Sean Jenkins this weekend, their best arm on the entire roster. In my opinion, they got to give him a week of rest, and I fully expect Sean Jenkins to pitch tomorrow night in Raleigh. So that is a big one. He will for sure pitch in the Doak tomorrow. Be sure to catch Money Matt at the game. He'll be there in Doak tomorrow. So Campbell sweeps College of Charleston.
Yep.
Campbell now what?
No, 20-4 in conference.
Oh, yes, 20-4 in the CAA South. That is now a 7-game lead over UNC Wilmington and a 5-game lead over Northeastern. Campbell is just continuing to play great baseball. Music and Lugo were outstanding this week, Braxton.
Yeah, Lugo was our player of the week. He had a sensational week. I think he was 11 for 20, a couple home runs. And Jeb Music hit a ball that is still not landed. That I think it was 467 feet into the streets of Charleston.
Into the streets of Charleston.
I mean, it was
right onto King Street. Yeah.
He just goes on these little weak tangents where he hits 4 or 5 homers. And I mean, just to have that kind of guy that's pitching for you also, I mean, what a luxury. And they just continue to dominate the CAA. They've even exceeded my expectations of this season because I kind of called before the season that they would have a better season and be back, but they've done more than I thought they would. I didn't expect them to be this dominant in the conference, and they've just completely taken it and ran with it. And I mean, guys, they're the clear favorite in this conference. And that doesn't always mean that they're going to be in, but I certainly think that, like you said, they'll want to play that game against ECU. They'll want to play some of these last few midweeks just to get some RPI points, just in case, because you just never know. And their RPI isn't that great. I don't think it's in the 60s. So
they did have a major jump though with the sweep this weekend.
They were even worse before this weekend.
Yeah.
So they needed a weekend like this to kind of jump up. But I mean, it's already a successful, season for Campbell. I mean, just the way that they've turned this thing around after a couple of disappointing first years in the conference. I mean, College of Charleston is a CAA, they're always competitive in the CAA, and they just go down there and sweep them. I know they're kind of having a down year, but really impressive stuff from the Camels this year.
Charleston moved to 10-11 in the CAA, 3 games back from Wilmington in second. Not the most ideal season for Charleston, but hey, there's still some time left. Moving to the SoCon, the Citadel takes 2 out of 3 from UNCG. UNCG not having the best season. That takes them to 3-12 in the SoCon, 16-28 overall. The Citadel moves to 6-9 in the SoCon, nice 21-22 overall, 5-5 in their last 10. Good win for the Citadel. We will get into more SoCon talk a little later as we had some major shakeup in the SoCon. Wilmington sweeps Elon. Reed, this was a good series win for Elon. Not series bounce back for Wilmington over Elon, excuse me. Reed, your thoughts on the Seahawks led by Connor Marshburn, who pitched 7 innings, 8 Ks, 0 earns, a hit, and a win.
A much needed week for Wilmington, after their slide here the past 4 weeks, not to mention too the victory against Coastal at home on Tuesday night. But, Randy Hood, he changed it up this weekend, maybe just to give them a new look. They moved Cooper Allen to Friday night. They moved Marshburn to Sunday, and then they moved Bromley Thornton to the bullpen. Cooper Allen, he wasn't his normal self though on Friday. He was roughed up. But, Marshburn, it was his best start he's had. Like you said, Kason, you read the numbers that he's had in weeks. So much needed week for Wilmington, after the rough stretch they've had. I still think with that pitching staff, they can absolutely win the CAA tournament.
They are 6-0 against Elon this season. They beat them 6 times. The closest one was 8-7. In a 16-inning game on March 13th. I actually remember that game. That was a very late game on that Friday night. And then the next games, UNC Wilmington beat them 8-0, 11-0, 9-8, 5-1, 8-1. So that first Friday night game, Elon gives them all they can handle, and then Wilmington takes care of business.
I had Elon as my bold prediction. Maybe a little disrespect to Wilmington there. They went in and took care of business, so credit to them. But I did think Elon was hot and maybe could give them some trouble. But good pitching performances all weekend long from Wilmington.
Speaking of bold predictions, my bold prediction on the week was Gardner Webb taking the series versus Winthrop, and they shocked the world. And then went on Instagram and said, "That's barbecue chicken." Just great Instagram caption there from Gardner Webb. But they take the series from Winthrop. Gardner Webb moves to 8-10 in the Big South. Winthrop is now tied with High Point at 11-4. You got Longwood 3 games back at 8-7. You got Charleston Southern 2 games back at 11-9. So just crazy series win here. Oliver Ellison for Gardner Webb. Complete. Was this a complete game, or did he pitch twice?
Complete game shutout. Against Winthrop on Friday, I believe.
Huge. He went 9 innings, 5 Ks, 0 earned, 5 hits, and the win. Braxton, rough one for Winthrop, and what do you think your former coach said to the boys on Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, it was, definitely wasn't happy. That's a series that he would expect for them to go in and take, especially with High Point kind of being off from conference this weekend. You want to stay ahead of them, but you're still sitting at 11-4 in the conference. It's obviously one that you got to put behind you, because you can certainly win this conference still. It's going to be between you and High Point, I think, when it comes down to it. But this is a good practice for them because Gardner Webb's certainly a team that can go into that tournament and shock someone like they just did 2 out of 3 here. So they're definitely a team that can make some noise in that tournament too. And this win puts them, I believe, into that tournament spot. I think it actually knocks Upstate out currently.
Correct. Yes.
So, Upstate's got some work to do if they even want to be playing in that tournament. But yeah, Gardner Webb, shout out to them. Great series win for them. Just really good to see them protect their home turf here against a good Winthrop team coming into town.
The chopping block right now is 8 wins, and right now you got Upstate who's knocked out at 8-10. You got Gardner Webb right above them at 8-10. You got Radford at 9-9, Charleston Southern at 9-9, and Longwood at 8-7. So I mean that the margin of error is razor thin going down the stretch.
And
for all these Big South teams.
Upstate plays Gardner Webb next week, so that's a huge series.
Huge series for implications in terms of what's it called?
The tournament.
Yes, and like one
Big
up
South.
series win. Big South, yeah. William Mary sweeps North Carolina A&T. Unfortunately, North Carolina A&T falls to 3-18 on the season, 11-31 overall. Goodness gracious. William Mary wins by two touchdowns, 21-7 in the first game. I mean, when I saw the score, I still didn't have mercy. Yeah.
I
Unfortunate.
thought A&T would compete a little better than they did against this William and Mary.
I agree.
Credit to William and Mary coming down here and putting up 30 runs on Sunday.
That's a lot of offense. Virginia Tech takes the series from NC State. Reed, it is now or never for NC State, who now moves to 10-11 in the ACC. Virginia Tech's at 11-13. Reed, just the pitching, the hitting, kind of everything for NC State is not clicking right now when it needs to be.
No, they need Ryan Marone back ASAP. They've been really hurt with injuries though here over these past few weeks though. With Duden obviously, and then Marone being out here for extended weeks, and then it adds fuel to the fire too this weekend. Mikey Ryan slides into the third too, and sounds like it's a pretty severe ankle injury, is what Colby was saying. But State, yeah, I think Colby was saying it's probably a broken ankle. Yeah, I mean, State's they're sitting in a dangerous spot right now. 10-11 in the ACC. Go against a Virginia Tech team, that was right around 500 overall, and that's a series you have to win on the road. But they've got their hands full. I mean, it's not going to be easy for State down the stretch. Looking at their upcoming schedule, Miami at home. I mean, that's a great opportunity to get right back on track and feel like you're inside the bubble. And then that's at Stanford. That's not going to be an easy series, as easy as it looked. Maybe going into this past week, we just saw what they just did to Florida State, and then obviously they welcome in the Heels to town, and then not to mention a game against ECU tomorrow. I'm willing to put my life on it that Avent cancels that midweek game against A&T in 2 weeks. State's sitting right now on the bubble. I mean,
52 in the RPI, 58 strength of schedule.
Yeah, just playing that game, a team with what's A&T's RPI? Probably like
293.
Yeah. I mean, just playing that game will drag them down in the RPI. So I would be shocked if they played that game.
It's already canceled. I mean, I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah. But yeah, State has to get healthy. I mean, they need Marone back ASAP, just to provide some help to that rotation. I mean, Heath Andrews continues to have his troubles. We've noted, giving up. I think he gave up another 2 or 3 home runs again this weekend.
Yeah, he has not been great for NC State, but like you said, Reed, it's kind of been. I mean, I wouldn't say something, but I mean, you feel like every year or so, NC State arm just goes down on this point in the season. I remember our first year Van Dam went down bad late.
Yeah.
Duden went down 2 weeks ago. Marone's down. Unfortunate that the injuries pile up for NC State like this at around this time of the year, but hey, it's
I'm
the
just looking. I'll just
mentality.
add exactly. Sorry to cut you off there, but I'm just looking at State's metrics. They've only played 2 quad 2 games. I mean, which is just crazy. Being in the ACC, only playing 2 quad 2.
Maybe
I
they
mean,
can
yes.
find an opponent for that instead of A&T.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to look back at their non-conference schedule. I mean,
Yep.
maybe it's something that will play a factor in the upcoming years. I mean, being in the Carolinas, you have so many opportunities. Those first 4 weekends of non-conference play. I mean, challenge yourself. I mean, they did themselves no good. Playing Lafayette and Sacred Heart,
Princeton,
and
they lost.
And then losing those games certainly didn't help them either. So I mean, it's a big week this week for State. They're probably going to find themselves not in our current field this Braxton this week. If I had to say right now, I would not have State in the field.
I mean, if they win tomorrow, we might.
Yeah, if they win tomorrow. After this weekend, I wouldn't have them in though. They have to win that Miami series this weekend.
Yeah.
Presbyterian falls to Radford. Drops the series. Presbyterian moves to 6-12, 10-35 overall. That is the worst record in the Carolinas. Unfortunately, Radford at 9-9, 500. Unfortunate for Presbyterian, but fortunately, App State, guys, now tied for second in the Sun Belt with Southern Miss as they sweep Georgia Southern. Huge series sweep for App State. Cameron Miller, 5 for 11, 6 RBIs, 7 runs, 4 home runs, 9 walks. 9 walks. That is
I believe that was correct. Yeah.
Unreal. But Braxton, huge for this App State squad that you have been pretty high on this season. And they're sitting right with Southern Miss for second in the Sun Belt. And they really just have to take care of business down the stretch. I'm going to read off their schedule here to end the season. They have at Wake Forest tomorrow. They have at Troy, which will be tough. Troy sits at 12-9, right under them, 22-22 overall. But this is not the Troy we have seen as of late in past years. Louisiana at home. Louisiana's towards the bottom of the Sun Belt, and then they finish at Georgia State. Georgia State, middle of the pack. And hey, Braxton, I'm not going to sit here and say that second place is right there, but I mean it is definitely attainable for this App State squad because I don't think no one's going to catch Coastal at 17-4, but they can position themselves real nice for maybe a kill shot in the Sun Belt tournament.
Yeah. First, speaking on this series, this was one they absolutely had to sweep. I mean, it hurt their RPI to begin with, just playing these. They went 4-0 this week, and their RPI went down 3 or 4 spots. But they take care of business, and they did it in style too. They put up a bunch of runs, Cameron Miller, like you mentioned. But yeah, that's a tough Sun Belt ending schedule, and I don't think they'll be able to catch Coastal, obviously. But going back to it, we watched this team play Coastal tight, so I think it is a team. If it gets down to the scenario where they're playing a Coastal late in that tournament, in the semis or in the final, they could give them some trouble. So that's kind of where they need to be, right around in that 2 or 3 seed. Just able to kind of make some noise in that tournament. So I'm looking for them to finish the season strong. At Troy is going to be really tough. At Georgia State is going to be really tough. Louisiana, I think, is a series they should be able to take. But and maybe they get a couple midweek wins just to kind of help their confidence too. Maybe they, going and beating Wake tomorrow would be huge. Not only in RPI, which it doesn't really matter for RPI because you're going to have to win the tournament, but at least it helps your confidence going into playing down to Troy this weekend.
And they have guys on that roster. You have Charlie Evans and Steven Smith, Cameron Miller at the plate, among other guys. And then on the mound, you got a dog in Gage Peterson, who we've talked about ad nauseum. Nick Dorito, first team all name, by the way, has been outstanding, as well as Max Tramontana has been really good for them as well. So, I mean, Braxton, I mean, kind of like you said, if you get late in that SoCon tournament, I mean, not
No.
Sunbelt, excuse me, and you have the right arms available, and let's say that coastal offense, who we've kind of questioned a little bit throughout the season with the struggles of Rex Watson, Colby Thorndike, let's say that they're not having it. They're not having a good day. I mean, this Sunbelt team could maybe punch their ticket. I know that's very, 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 very bold, but Reed, kind of your take on that.
I wouldn't rule anything out. I mean, they've been on fire here these past 4 weekends in Sunbelt play. But I'll just add, like Braxton said, though. I mean, great opportunity tomorrow night just to continue to build their conference or confidence. If they were able to beat Wake tomorrow night. But I mean, just looking at the Sunbelt Conference, my gosh, I mean, it is ugly right now. I mean, it is so bunched up there. Teams, hell, two to 13. From Southern Miss all the way down to James Madison, you've got a ton of teams sitting at 11 and 10 and 10. I think let's count them. 1, 2, 5 teams sitting at 10 and 11 right now in the conference. I still feel like the Sun Belt will get more than 2 teams, more than Coastal and Southern Miss. They've got a lot of teams like Arkansas State and Texas State who are sitting right there on the bubble position in RPI. So it's going to be interesting to watch how the Sun Belt Conference plays out over the final 3 weeks.
Also, could be a bid stealer in this conference. There could be a bid stealer in this conference. I could for sure see that. Maybe like a team like App State, something like that. Jacksonville sweeps Queens. Unfortunate. Queens falls to 8 and 11 in the Graphite division. Jacksonville at 12 and 9. Unfortunate here from Queens, but the series that I kind of want to talk about is Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. I mean, talk about a series that, I mean, if you get the chance, go watch these Wills highlights of these games. Game 2, what did they score? 8 runs in the first inning. Was it 8 runs in the first inning?
I think it was 6 in the first inning, and then they added 2 more in the second or third. It was 8-0 early.
I know it was 11-1 in the third. It was 11-1 in the third. That was the biggest lead. And then Reed first talk about Friday, but I mean Saturday is when I think the wheels just came off the train.
Yeah, Wake led in the 5th inning in all 3 games. Offensively, I'm not worried about them. Cade Lewis just continues to absolutely crush the ball. But Georgia Tech got to Lenovis on Friday night too. They were able to, he gave up 5 earned in that game. And then, just blowing a 10-run lead in baseball. I mean, that's just, that has to take so much confidence out of your pitching staff. I mean, Braxton, as a former college player yourself, I mean, you could probably agree with that. Just that Georgia Tech lineup is ridiculous. But I mean, you're up 10 runs. I mean, you have to win that game. Georgia Tech maybe is a few innings away from arguably sweeping Georgia Tech, though, this weekend. Instead, we're sitting here talking about them collapsing in all 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, it shows that they can certainly compete, but it also shows how good Georgia Tech is in terms of just getting them out 27 times. This lineup is a tall task for anyone, which also shows me how elite it was for Carolina to do that a couple times when they played them. But like you said about Wake, their offense is going to be able to hit with anyone. I'm not worried about their offense. I wasn't worried about their pitching, but they've kind of had to find the right formula there. I mean, they just haven't really found it in terms of can you even name what their rotation is right now? It seems like it's doubled around all year.
I will say Bagwell did have 10 strikeouts yesterday, but he also gave up 5 earned runs. And then, not to mention Morningstar out of the bullpen on Saturday.
He was
that's
Morningstar all game. Morningstar in Dallas, we're supposed to be 2 guys that were in probably Friday, Saturday right there. And
that's kind of what I want to answer your question with Braxton is I think that Blake Morningstar throwing a monkey wrench, and I think Blake Morningstar threw a monkey wrench in this whole thing because I mean he was. I mean, we had people furious at us that he was not on a preseason All Carolina team. We had Wake Forest accounts spamming us saying why was he on the All preseason All Carolina teams. All Carolina team. And yesterday he pitched 2 innings, 4 hits, four earned runs, two Ks, and he faced 10 batters. And that's just kind of when the downfall happened. And I mean, him, Dallas, I mean, they've just been all over the place. But as Reed said, I mean, they're going to score. They're going to score. They just have to hold their opponent to under 10 runs.
Yeah,
Lavonis.
besides Lavonis, I mean, not much faith in that rotation.
Duncan,
you know,
Duncan's been pitching well in the midweek. Maybe you have that conversation to move him to the weekend.
I mean, you already did that though with Bagwell.
So it's just juggled around so much you don't even know what the rotation is.
I mean, Tom Walter. I mean, he's got some questions he's going to have to answer. They've got Louisville in town this weekend, and Louisville's. App State too. You've got a series against Western, and then I forget who their other ACC series. So they've got.
I'll tell you in a second.
I got it pulled up right here. Actually, they got Louisville.
It's Duke.
They got Western Carolina and Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Wake's gonna hear their name called on Monday in a few weeks, but this would have helped them tremendously. Avoid the blow up innings, and we're having a different discussion right now.
I mean, their strikeout numbers are ridiculous, but they give up so many runs.
Yeah.
I mean, they have 511 strikeouts as a team. I mean, Lenovo's with 89, Duncan Martin with 62, Bagwell with 46, Dressler with 60, Bowie with 43, Morningstar with 44, and then you go down to Harsh with 34. I mean, the strikeout numbers are there, and I mean, if you look at this team through a box score, you would think this team is a top 25 team in the country. I mean, if you look at, I mean, their numbers are ridiculous. I mean,
it's just like the graphic we put out a few weeks ago. Like they have the number one pitching and hitting metrics in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
I'll also add a crazy stat here. Sorry, Kason, but I found this just mind-boggling. They have lost 7 straight Sunday games.
Wow.
What?
In ACC play this year. They have lost 7 straight. Yeah, you heard that right. 7 straight Sunday losses.
That's ridiculous. But as I was saying, Cade Lewis 12 home runs. Luke Costello 15 home runs. You got Williams with 9. He's going to be at double digits. You got Wentz with 12. And then you got Matt Conti with 9. They're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with double-digit home runs on the season, and you're going to have a guy with triple-digit strikeouts, multiple guys with 50 plus, maybe 70 plus strikeouts on the season. I mean, if you look at this team straight box scores, you go, holy cow, this team is phenomenal. And Braxton, it's in there. It's in there. You have the talent all over the roster. Tom Walter is a phenomenal head coach. But they just cannot figure out how to win.
Yeah. I mean, it's really reminding me of last year's Wake team a lot, to be honest. Like, you had the...
And 2024.
Yeah.
And 2024.
Yeah, but 2024, I think, I don't know. There was, more hype around the 2024 team just because of what they did in 2023.
But I mean, how many first-round picks they had on that team, though?
Yes.
Kurtz and Burrs are in the show right now.
Yeah, 100%. I understand, but last year having Merrick Houston, and it kind of the season's going similarly, and they were a 2 seed both those years. They'll be probably a 2 seed again, but it's a 2 seed you don't want to see in your region either. That's a tough offense you're gonna have to face if you're a 1 seed. So
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's a 2 seed you want to see, or your 2 seed you do not want to see, because they could because they could do what they did this weekend, have all these numbers, but then just not win. But then to your point, Braxton, they can unload 10 runs on you in 2 innings.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to get Cade Lewis out
No.
in a regional.
It's just, and they got to find some consistency on Saturday and Sunday. With this pitching staff. If they have the talent to get to Omaha. Like you said, Braxton. I mean, they're so talented. I mean, I agree with you. It's not a team I would want as my 2 in my regional.
Western Carolina is now first in the SoCon Conference after defeating East Tennessee.
Let's go.
They are now sitting at 10-5 in the SoCon, 29-16 overall. ETSU fell to 9-6. Big series win for them. And hey, we'll just talk about them in the same breath. Wofford gets swept by Mercer at Mercer. Mercer moves to 25-2 on the season at home.
Wow.
Quite something. They do not lose at home. Shocking loss by Wofford here. You would have thought they would have at least got one game, but they did not.
What is Mercer's RPI, Reed?
I believe it is at 54 and Western's at 55.
That's crazy because Mercer being 32-12, but they're 7-5, right, in the conference.
Yeah.
And Western did beat them in a series, I believe, last week, right?
Yeah, they swept them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they swept them at home the other weekend ago.
Correct. Yes. Mercer does not win on the road, though.
I mean,
it's funny how RPI works, though. Mercer swept by Western, and they're still ahead of them.
Is this a 2-bid league by chance? If Mercer's not winning the tournament, do they even have a chance or no?
I would probably no. They have 0 quad 1 wins.
I don't think it's a 2-bid league.
No, Mercer's a good team. I mean, Mercer's a really good team. But it's whoever wins that conference tournament will be in. And Mercer does play Georgia Tech midweek, the last week of the regular season.
Mercer's 32-12 overall.
It's going to be a shame when Wofford and Mercer have 35 win plus seasons, but Western's the one going to take it. I'm telling you, this Western.
Hey, it's all about can you take care of business.
And we touched on Wofford. They were going into first this weekend. We mentioned last show that they hadn't played any of the top 5 teams in the conference yet.
No.
So, I mean, am I worried? And maybe a little bit. I mean, you touched on Mercer's home record. I mean, that's a tough place to play. But I mean, they got to flush that and just get right back after it. This weekend, I mean, the schedule doesn't get any easier. They welcome Western to town this weekend, which will be a huge series. Yeah.
Oh wow. Let's go. That's huge.
I
think Western will be they'll probably be the what do you call it? The bid. They'll have the bid for our projection probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be an awesome conference tournament here in a few weeks.
It is.
Speaking of not awesome, the Clemson Tigers at large chances, shot in the water.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They're not winning the tournament either. I mean, if they're going to be the last place team,
they're 6-15 in the ACC. They are 3-7 in the last 10. They are 26-19 overall. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, they are just, I'll say it, they're pitiful. I mean, it has not been good at all. Reed, I'll get your thoughts on it before I say what I have to say.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think you're totally correct. Pitiful. It's the best way to sum up. I guess Banana Ball just cursed them this season.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
That's funny, dude. That's actually pretty good. I'll give you that one, Tobin.
But the pitching's just been so inconsistent. Clemson has played a brutal ACC schedule. I mean, they've played all the top teams, but with all that talent too. I mean, I don't think I would have ever imagined them being 16 or being 6-15 I mean, and it doesn't get any easier too. BC at home, FSU at home, and then they have a midweek game at Coastal too, at Virginia Tech. I mean, at the rate they're playing, they might not even finish above 500. I mean, it's been that bad of a season.
They've won one ACC series.
Yeah, I hate it. It has been an absolute disaster. We touched on going into this weekend. It was an absolute must-win for both teams. Both teams have been a huge disappointment. I mean, both teams were admiring going to Omaha this year, Louisville getting back, and then Clemson finally ending that streak of not getting to Omaha. And just both have been so disappointing. But Louisville is starting to heat up. 4-0 this week. They had the big rivalry win on Tuesday too against Kentucky. It would be such a shame, we said, Braxton, if Tate Davis was not in the NCAA tournament with those numbers he's put up. Zion Rose is healthy too right now. He's matching. And then, Zach Davis too. I mean, they have so much talent, but I mean, Louisville's RPI. We can talk about that maybe on our field of 64. That's another story for a different day though.
Clemson finishes the season with BC at home, series loss. I'll just say it. Then they go at Coastal Carolina, probably going to lose that game. Florida State at home, tough series. At Upstate, and then at Virginia Tech. I mean, Reed, do you see a confirmed series win on this?
I mean, the way they're playing, no. I mean, like I just said, they might not finish above 500.
Sanford sweeps Upstate. Braxton, a really up and down season for Upstate. 19-26 overall, moves to 8-10 in the Big South. Looking on the outside, looking in right now, the Big South tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. You've lost 9 straight now. You're playing yourself out of the tournament, which would be an absolute disaster. To win it last year and to not make the top 6. I mean, you could still do it, but again, I just don't think this team has the pitching to be sustainable like they did last year. Which really helped them. They put themselves in a really good position last year to win that tournament and make that Clemson regional. But it's just been a rough couple of weeks. I mean, they just can't seem to find a way to win a game. They lose, a few games that they probably could have won at Winthrop, but nonetheless, you lose them. You don't get it to go your way once, and then you go to Sanford trying to kind of rebound, and you just, I think it was a doubleheader. It turned into a doubleheader the first day or whatever, and you lose game 1, you try to bounce back game 2, you can't do it, you get behind again, and then they lose again on Sunday. So look, it's a tough skid. I mean, losing 9 straight is just tough for anyone. 19-26 is not where I saw this team being at record-wise at this point in the season, but it is what it is. You've got to find a way to sneak into that tournament. You got to beat Gardner-Webb this weekend. That's phase 1. They're right there with you. So you've got them at home. It's a huge chance for you to just kind of, make a statement. Get out of this losing streak. Make sure you make the tournament so you can play some more baseball, and maybe you get hot. So I'll be cheering for them, but it's definitely been a disappointing season for the Spartans. I'll have to say.
Speaking of a disappointing season, but a nice uplift, Kentucky drops the series to South Carolina. South Carolina wins the series over Kentucky. Nice series win there for South Carolina. Their second series win of the year, Tobin.
Yeah. You mentioned that at the start of the show. We finally had some movement in the SEC for South Carolina. They are now above the defending champs in the SEC standings. Yeah, and Monty Lee has already passed Maneri's win total in SEC games in Maneri's 1.5 years.
That is the craziest stat I've ever heard.
7 wins for Monty Lee and then 6 for Maneri. We've talked about it though. South Carolina, they've been so much more competitive since he's taken over too. And I think that just transpired into this weekend too. Ethan Lozama, he hit 3 homers this weekend too. South Carolina can just continue to sit here and play spoiler. Maybe, just continue to pick off some decent teams here in the SEC. I mean, I'm not expecting them to make a run in Hoover or anything like that. But no, that's a really good series win for them. Good for them.
I agree. It just goes to show they want to play for Monty Lee, which I think is great. I think that is big for sure.
Does he get the job? I mean, I don't think he does. I mean,
I don't think he
barring
does.
something. Yeah, I mean, barring something, some incredible finish here down the stretch.
I don't think he does personally. Anything else y'all want to touch on before we move? Oh, I have our question. Braxton, who won the weekend?
Let's see. I'll go with probably UNCW. Either them or Campbell, just because of how much Campbell moved up. But I think UNCW really needed that. Being a team that's hosting that tournament, and you've kind of you've hit a struggle bus here recently, but kind of a get right series for you at Elon, and they go in there and sweep with some big performances, like Marshburn had, and Cooper Allen's been great all year. So I think if they can get hot right now, they can really be confident that they can take that. They can still. I mean, they run that conference. They seem to win it every year, despite having these little weeks where they struggle, and especially hosting it. I mean, that's going to be huge for them. That's another one that I'd want to be at, just in terms of thinking conference tournament. Like, imagine a Wilmington Campbell final. Like, there's going to be a lot of fans out there. Bowie's Creek's going to travel out there. It's going to be electric. And obviously, it's going to be on Flow Sports, so that'd be one you have to go to see. So, I mean, could be a fun one to go out to Wilmington. Maybe I might even do that.
That will be a lot of fun. Reed, I'm going to say my who won the weekend before you take mine. Western Carolina, it moved them to number 1 in the SoCon with the series win over ETSU. But hey, they have a lot of work to do in front of them. But I'm going to go with Western won the weekend for me.
I will go with the Pirates. I think it was by far their best week they've had all season. Gets them right back into tied for first place in the American too. And then, I touched on how great their offense was this weekend.
Thank you, sir. We will now end the show previewing our midweek madness slate. Thank you, Braxton, for putting it into the sheet. And there are some sneaky good games on this one that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Lead off with UNC Asheville at ETSU, 5 p.m. Gardner-Webb at Wofford. Can Gardner-Webb maintain the hot streak, and does Wofford get back into the win column? App State at Wake Forest. Good one here, too. App State playing really well. Wake's both one coming off getting swept, one coming off a sweep. Looking forward to that one. And then the big one, East.
Just real quick on that game. I think it's actually, I just researched it. I think it's in Shelby, North Carolina.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'll make a change for that.
No worries. And the big one, East Carolina at NC State. Reed, looking forward to that rematch. Charlotte at Liberty. Liberty once again on here. What did Liberty do this weekend, Reed?
I believe they took 2 out of 3. I think it was like Delaware. I think it was Delaware they played. They got upset on Friday night, I believe. But I mean, they're still firmly in the field.
Yeah, you're right, Reed. Lost on Friday to Delaware, and then they won by.
I think all the like heavy hitter teams in the Conference USA that me and Braxton had been talking up all lost Friday night. I know Missouri State got swept this weekend.
Davidson at UNCG, 6 p.m. Charleston Southern at Georgia Southern. Battle of the Southerns. High Point at Campbell.
Huge.
That is a good one. 2 teams that used to be conference foes, no longer conference foes. So nice little rematch there on Flow Sports, unfortunately. In North Carolina, A&T at Winthrop. Winthrop looks to get back in the win column. A&T looks to make another upset in the midweek. They've upset a few teams like High Point in the midweek. The Citadel at South Carolina. Look for some low scores there. And Coastal Carolina at North Carolina. A big one on national television, ACC Network. Love that is on ACC Network. That game will now end at 10:30 p.m. because of the commercials. So it's fine.
And it's Dollar Dog night.
It's dollar dog night.
It
Okay,
is. Oh
that
yeah.
sounds delicious. Braxton, get your take first. What has your
I
eye,
mean,
sir?
there's three big ones, obviously. ECU at State is huge. These are all huge. High Point at Campbell, that's probably the two best mid majors in the Carolinas, other than Coastal, of course. Going at it. I mean, I had these in my rankings. I had these guys at 3 and 4 this week, I believe, or maybe 3 and 5. But this is a huge matchup, like you said, former conference foes as well, and then obviously Coastal and North Carolina. So I mean, those three I'm going to be having my eyes on for sure. But there's some other great games on here too.
Reed Tobin.
Yeah, Braxton just said it as well as you can. I mean, those are three massive, massive games. And then, not to mention too, App and Wake Forest too.
Got Queens in North Carolina on Wednesday as well. Upset watch there for Queens. Just be on the lookout for that one. And Braxton, game canceled?
Yeah, this got canceled like a week ago, didn't it, Reed?
Yeah, they announced last week. I think it was just like a scheduling conflict or something like that.
Interesting. They must have to hit the road for a series or something.
It has to be something like that.
College Charleston maybe has to travel up north. But I'm keeping my eye on East Carolina, NC State. As I said earlier, Reed, I'm looking for Sean Jenkins to pitch here. I think he's going to pitch. I think you're going to have an opener maybe in Luke Payne,
Moran.
maybe the first or second inning, or Moran.
I bet Moran starts. They haven't announced, but with Moran not pitching this past weekend, I would think it'd be him.
Will it be Hemrick for State probably then?
I bet it's already announced. Hold on. I'm looking it up right now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who State pitches. I mean, it's going to be a wild atmosphere tomorrow night in Raleigh. But with Jenkins not pitching this past weekend too, and he pitched. Did he even pitch against Tulane? I'm trying to remember. I don't even think he pitched against Tulane.
Who?
Jenkins.
Jenkins pitched for Tulane.
I don't think he did.
I think he did.
It was minimum if he did.
Let me look up his last outing.
I know he pitched against State 2 weeks ago, but
Did you find it? Did you find the starters, Casey?
I'm actually looking for it right now.
Okay.
It could be up. Yep. The starters are out. Tobin, good job. Nick Moran is making the start tomorrow, and Julian Picel will get the start for NC State tomorrow.
All right.
Also, this is a great matchup. Both teams wearing the strikeout ALS jerseys. NC State wearing the 26 strikeout ALS, and ECU wearing the 23.
So, Jenkins threw 2 innings at Tulane. He threw 3 innings against State last time, and then he threw .2 against Old Dominion.
I don't even remember him coming in against ODU. I don't even remember him coming in against ODU. But I mean, he's going to be really fresh. And I look for him, maybe to go 3-4 innings tomorrow if it's a close game.
Pizzo has just pitched 4 times for NC State. His last outing was against Wake Forest. He pitched an inning. He had 2 hits, no earned, 3 Ks. So, yeah, he has only pitched 4 innings on the season. He'll probably match that tomorrow with 4 shutout innings versus ECU. So, just want to go ahead and say that.
I mean, you said it a few minutes ago, Kason. Let's see how ECU responds this week. They finally have a good week. They went 4-0 a few weeks ago, and then they followed it up with a stinker. So, it's about consistency. And I think just all Pirate fans, I think most Pirate fans would sign up for a 3-1 week, though, this week.
When's the last time we saw Nick Moran?
He started against Old Dominion last week. That was his first start in a month.
Since
first appearance in a long time.
I'm also thinking about I wonder what the pitch. Can you see if these have been announced too, Kason?
Go ahead.
Coastal and UNC, if they've announced their starters. I mean,
yeah, no problem.
Reed, it may be. I doubt it would be Flannery. It might be Rose again.
Yeah, I mean, with such a huge matchup, would not shock me at all if they bring in if
And
he
on the
starts
coastal
on.
side, wouldn't it be something if they would have saved Fluky for this matchup? That would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
Applebin, maybe he's a name. He got roughed up though on Sunday, so I doubt he pitches tomorrow. He gave up a grand
It's so
slam.
difficult to predict midweek pitchers
Yeah.
too. Like,
I'm trying to see if Carolina's announced.
Carolina has not announced. Neither has Coastal.
okay, so we'll see. But
Yep. Boys, we have a loaded midweek slate. Really looking forward to that one. Be sure to follow us at Carolina Curve BB for all those updates for the slate and scoreboard. Anything else, boys, we want to touch on before we sign off?
I think I'm all good. Have another good week. We'll look out for the 64, of course. We'll be working on that after tomorrow's games, probably. Just kind of let these play out because this could definitely have some bearing on where teams are going and seed wise. But be on the lookout for that. Check out all our honor rolls that we put out today. Check out our rankings. We work hard on those every week, so hopefully they look good on there.
Tobin?
No, I'm just looking forward to all these big matchups. Tomorrow night, like I said, I mean this next month and a half is probably my favorite time of the year. With conference tournaments, conference races, and then not to mention the NCAA tournament. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
It is unfortunate that the season is almost over. Teams have about 3 series left before conference tournaments. The season has flown by. And folks, that will do it. As Braxton said, be sure to give us a follow at Carolina Curve BB on Instagram and Twitter or X. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on TikTok. Braxton does a great job there. Subscribe on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. And folks, that'll do it. Reed Tobin, stay safe down there in Dirty Myrtle, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. We will see you on Thursday.